But anyway, Mourinho annoys me, Allegri annoys me. So let's get on to Juventus. Usually, like Nicky always loves to say, I am a huge apologist for Allegri, and I think that she can be a little bit too. But I know, Gab, that you're not. And obviously there is a 1-0 victory over Fiorentina. He released the shackles at least a little bit in the Champions League, and we saw a little bit of fun and excitement, and we saw several goals. And then it all fell apart when they faced Fiorentina. So, Allegri, should we sack him?
Look, I don't know. I think when Allegri took the job, he looked at the situation. Again, I think Allegri understands that football's moved on, that he wasn't going to be. I don't know, we've had this conversation many times, right, about the direction of travel, and that Juventus committed to a certain direction under Sarri and Pirlo, and it didn't work out for different reasons. I think Allegri looks at it genuinely and says, I'm a smarter coach than those guys. I can play defensive football. I can play more attacking football. I'm a better man manager. I'm more experienced. So I'm just going to get these players and I'm going to fix it. I'm going to coach my way out of it because Chiesa, Kulusevski, Locatelli, these are good players. De Ligt. I think he genuinely thought he could do that. And maybe he still can. And it's taking longer. And I genuinely don't know what to tell you because I see them against Zenit. And again, leaving aside the scoreline, right? And I absolutely hate it. There's certain people, sorry, Mina, especially Juve fans who, it's all about the results, fino alla fine, all this nonsense, right? All this garbage. So, when they beat Chelsea, I'm like, big win over Chelsea. You're also, lucky as hell. Like, you didn't deserve to win that game at all.
Don't you think so? I thought they played well in that game.
Yeah, I did. I just thought it was just a lot of defending and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, But I saw the game against Zenit, and I said, this is good. This is what you want to do. You're taking the game to the opposition. You're imposing yourself. Chiesa is unshackled. He's running rampant. Even Bernardeschi played well. This is good. Dybala looked alive, right? And so I said, all right, have they turned the corner? Can they carry this over against Fiorentina? And Fiorentina, by the way, who I think have an exceptional and often overlooked coach in Italiano. And there's actually some things that worked really well. I thought, I didn't see Vlahovic on the pitch, presumably because De Ligt stuffed him in his shorts and we didn't see him. I thought De Ligt was really good. De Ligt, who, by the way, has received a lot of unfair criticism, again, from certain Juve types who believe that Bonucci and Chiellini can still get the job done consistently and that it's, 2010. That said, Chiesa came alive far too late. The less said about the other attackers in this game, the better. And I look at this and, some people are like, but Bernardeschi wasn't there. And so he had to. I'm sorry, if you're relying on Bernardeschi to be a difference maker, you've got problems. I genuinely don't know. I hope Allegri goes away next 2 weeks, sits down with his staff and says, all right, why are we so Jekyll and Hyde in terms of performance and mentality and approach? Leave the results to one side. The results will come in the end. It's Juve. They'll sneak up the table. And then, whatever. They'll be in with a shot, right? Come April, and they'll be thereabouts, right? You don't worry about that. But they've shown that they can actually play the way I think Allegri would want him to play. But then 4 days later, you get this crap that we saw without a single shot on target until Milenkovic was sent off. That's not good enough. And Allegri's got to wonder, why are they like this?
Yeah, it's the classic Allegri narrative, isn't it, though, that he takes a bit of a season to work things out, and then when he works it out, that's when the shackles do come off, which is, I totally see where you're coming from, Gab. You get that Zenit game and you think, is this the moment? I think that's what's bugging me so far is I don't see the innovation. Where's this innovation coming? Taking the shackles off Federico Chiesa sounds great, right? That's what I want to see. I love watching Federico Chiesa play. I thought even in this game where events weren't great, that single-mindedness that he has, where it's just like, I'm just going to try and win this game now. It nearly worked, right? Like he had a shot off the bar. He had another one that went really close. I think it's kind of funny. You mentioned Bernardeschi there, who's another Fiorentina ex. But I think it's kind of funny that a lot of us were all focused on Chiesa, waiting for him to win the game against his former team. Then Cuadrado, who, by the way, shows up so often at the end of games. I would love to have like put together a file of just all the like 85th minute onwards goals he scored, because there's been quite a few. But it's easy to say, take the shackles off Chiesa and it'll fix things. And I've even probably said things like that. I'm not saying that to have a go at you, because I think I've said things like that. But what is the system? What is the system that allows Chiesa to take the shackles off? What is the system that is going to consistently get us the best of Federico Chiesa? Because as far as I'm concerned, that should be the whole plan right now, because he's the best player they've got.
But the problem is, though, Nicky, sorry, Mina, is that you have another player who's likely going to become the highest paid player at Juventus by some distance, who's also supposedly the best player at the club. He isn't. Even though
I know who you're talking about, and he's not.
I know, but I'm talking about Paulo Dybala. No, but this is the thing. This is where, because of the crappy way, the crappy short-sighted way that this club's been run a long time, they're now up a creek without a paddle, right? They're so terrified of losing Dybala on a free transfer. Honestly, I would say, whatever he's making now, you've saved yourself that money.
Yes.
Let him go. Dare him. Hey, Paolo, you think there's a big queue of people waiting up for you?
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see. No, honestly, I mean, you either come back on our terms or that's it.
You know, like,
same thing with Mark.
Find yourself a better salary. Go, please. You know.
These clubs been around. I don't even know if they're at the 100-year mark or if it just feels that way. But you've been around for a long time. And I know that they like to use this marketing term about winning all the time. No, they haven't all the time. Sometimes you need to go backwards to go forwards. And it's one thing if you're saying we have Cristiano Ronaldo, let's put all our chips in the middle of the table because we won in the Champions League. Fine. But he's not there anymore. He's gone. You can't treat Dybala and Morata, say they're so important now because Ronaldo's gone.
Yes.
Just live with it. You've got a bazillion guys on loan around Europe. Just dare them to do something. Don't succumb to Dybala. Where do you think he's going to go? You think Conte's going to take him at Spurs? That ship sailed. Do you think he's going to United? Who's going to offer 28-year-old Dybala a big contract? Nobody. So you work out something with him. I really hope they take a hard line with him, because otherwise we're back to the same nonsense as before. That because Dybala's there, because Morata's there, then there's no money. Then we have to get some crappy low rent striker next year, and local Chiesa has to go and check himself because he doesn't want to destabilize what Dybala might be doing somewhere on the pitch. No. If you have to rebuild with Allegri. He's shown that he can do it. But it's like the party's over. Chiellini's going to be gone soon. Bonucci hopefully will be gone as well. I mean, it's like hopefully because they're bad, but because you can't keep squeezing this stuff. Have the ball to go out there and say, De Ligt, Locatelli, Chiesa, Kulusevski maybe. You guys are what we're going to build around. If it takes time, it takes time. But we've come back before.
I actually have a thought in my head, Gab, about Bonucci and Chiellini, which is a challenging thought because as an Italian, I loved this summer, and they came together this summer in that way that they do, and they were brilliant. And I almost want...
You were nicely hedged in the final there, weren't you, Nicky? You were nicely hedged in the Euro 2020
explaining
final,
why I wasn't that hedged, actually, Gab, an old medium piece. I was nicely hedged financially, though. Good betting this summer. As you know, Gab, I know a thing or two about putting a good bet on the football. But I wonder if Bonucci and Chiellini's summer has almost deluded people about where we are in this story. Because Chiellini had an amazing summer, but Chiellini is not Chiellini of 5 years ago, probably not even 2 years ago at this point. And that transition to De Ligt has been too slow now. And I think I'm with you with your big point here. Juventus are not going to win the league this season. I'm probably going to end up regretting this. Someone's going to wave it in my face when they somehow do, but they're still, even after this weekend, 14 points back. They're not going to win the league this season. They'll probably make the top four, but this is the moment to start embracing long-term planning and not be focused on the short-term planning. I think that's a really good point you made there.
I just don't understand why they're being held hostage. I also want to understand why Rugani is still in this fucking team. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not like he made some major error, but it hurts me that this guy that couldn't even put in a performance for Cagliari is now starting for Juventus, you know? Yeah,
The shooter's there too. Does that cheer you up?
somebody that even, you know, Allegri believes in. I mean, honestly speaking, but I mean, Rabiot, like, who is this man? Like, honestly, what have you done? Like, what have you done to my team, you know? And Dybala, for all of his brilliance that he can produce on the pitch, and I have always maintained that, this is also a man who firstly keeps asking for more money, and on top of that is always injured. You can never consistently rely on him for physically to be present. You know, your best ability is your availability. Sorry, it is a cliche, but be available. I mean, the man never is. And so for me, it's being held hostage by too many average players. You know, Arthur's always injured. I don't know what Rabiot does, really, honestly. I mean, it's not like he's terrible. I just don't know what he produces of value, really. So...
So we troll Nicky by bringing up Aaron Ramsey too.
They are working on getting rid of him, so at least on that, they're not being held hostage.
Oh my God.
All right, can we put something slightly in Allegri's defense?
I will always defend him. Yes.
Or in Juve's defense. I feel dirty defending the club. It does mess up your plans when Cristiano Ronaldo, 48 hours from the end of the transfer window, leaves, because Cristiano Ronaldo affects so many things. And I think, you know, we have to accept that. Maybe one day somebody will talk and tell us the real story. That, you know, I'm pretty sure they tried to peddle him all summer and nobody was interested. And in the end, George Mendes had to go and knock on doors around Europe until he could find somebody who could afford him, and Cristiano wanted to go to. But it does completely mess you up at that stage when you've done your whole preseason thinking Cristiano is going to be a part of it. And to Allegri, more than other managers, that whole work that they do in the preseason.
And in the words of Fabio Capello, I told him not to take that job. He'd be made a scapegoat. So at least they're winning in the Champions League. That's all that Juve, well, nowadays cares about.